Internet, what's going on, man? It's been a long time, but we're back. We're live. So it's again, it's the Cruise, Basement Protagonist. Obviously, it's your old hero host, Zero Sherm, in the building. Fresh, what's going on? Will, what's happening? We're coming through you in a whole new format, so I got to get used to it. But don't worry. We're here. We're back. I hope you've missed this. It's been a lot to discuss, a lot we've missed, a lot to talk about. But here we are, fellas. What's going on?
What's going on?
What's up, family?
Yeah, I can't call it, man. I can't call it. Um, I'm not even gonna hold the internet up, man. We're just gonna jump right into it. Spider-Man, that was the biggest Megaton bomb to drop since you've last heard from us. But you know, uh, it came like a lightning bolt. I think the movie is amazing. Some people say it's like top five Marvel. I don't necessarily agree with that, but it was really good. Fellas, let me ask, what were you guys' impressions with the movie?
I think it's top three. It was I was dazzled by it. Saw it in the theaters. Had to see it twice. The fight between Spider-Man and Strange was a CGI marvel. Um, the storyline, so what I mean. Like you have all the different storylines of Marvel, but like the reboot of Spider-Man, they just done this shit right. Everything about it is just great. And Spider-Man is arguably the most tortured hero there is. Um,
True.
in that sense, he unlike like Bruce Wayne who got a silver spoon. What I mean, and then went to start breaking clavicles just cause. Spider-Man had it hard out here. You know what I'm saying? He's ending super villainy while broke his shit, just selling photographs to a person that hate him. You know what I mean? So his aunt dies, uncle dies, he ain't got nobody, but he still fights the fight, man. And like you see, looks like they used the they're using the ultimate version of Spider-Man now. And from it's such amazing writing because he's not really fighting major villains. You know what I mean? Like first movie was the Vulture, second movie was Mysterio, third movie was a cacophony of people that what I'm saying. Like you got Doctor Octopus, you can just shoot him, he's done, or something like that. You know what I mean? But like they're able to write such a miraculous story about him fighting evil and crime, and adding the older Spider-Mans from the terrible versions of Spider-Man was also a dope tip to it as well.
Will,
Yeah, man,
Will,
it
where
was it
you
was
at?
it was a dope
Mhm.
it was a dope movie, man. I wouldn't put it in the top three. It would probably be in my top five, maybe, but it's a dope film. I went into it, how I feel about this version of Spider-Man. I'm not a big fan, but by the end of it, I was, man. They did a good job of kind of rounding it out and bringing them back. For me, it's about being more comics accurate. You don't have to follow the script, but it need to get some core elements right for me to get behind it. So, but they did a good job, bringing the other guys back. It was a solid story.
Now I noticed on our Facebook page because we do a lot of meme activity and things of that nature. I noticed, Will. I noticed at one point you weren't really digging the whole Spider-Man the way it played out, man. You weren't. What elaborate for us? Why weren't you? Personally, I felt like Fresh. He's kind of a tortured soul. This movie really reflected it really well. Um, I think Willem Dafoe personally came and stole the whole entire show.
Yeah, he was
So
excellent.
things of that nature. I
Yeah.
feel like it wrapped up the other Spider-Man universes with two words: start technology. And I they just kind of took a dump on all the Fox creations because of that. But I thought it was dope. But I'm like, I remember, Will, you were talking like, man, you put some memes up, and I'm like, dang, this, you weren't really feeling it, bro. I felt like you had some objections. I don't know if you want to elaborate. I know you're a little more main storyline centric than your casual MCU person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I feel like MCU fans are disingenuous, man. Um, because it left a lot more questions than answers. It could have, you know, the popular meme is, why didn't he just ask Strange to erase people's with Mysterio's his secret identity, and the movie would have been over. It was extra for no reason. I mean, everything we've seen from, what is it? How many appearances has he had? Like 5 appearances. I mean, it's like 5 appearances for him to come all the way back around to not existing. None of the work he put in matters, and he doesn't exist. So my issue was, I'm like, how this guy getting a GED? How is he getting an apartment? Nobody knows who he is. Like, man, but it's like you can't have these conversations with new fans, man. You can't. It takes. I'm learning that it takes about 6 months to a year for them to kind of start asking questions. The hype train is so hard. They'll defend it. They'll just fill in gaps. And I'm like, hold on, man, that don't make no sense, man. You know, it's an enjoyable story, but I can't get behind because it just leaves too many questions.
That's the beauty of it. You can't come here and debate these things, because I'm like, man, I don't know, Will. That's kind of heavy, bro. But I appreciate where you're coming from with it. First,
Yeah.
what's your take?
Well, so I think DC has the biggest 3 characters in Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, in, like, you know, entire comics, whatever type shit. Number 4 is Spider-Man, and I think he's the most well-rounded, more diverse. Because, like, even though he got Spider-Man's strength and all that good stuff, he's one shot away. You know what I'm saying? He's broke. He's yeah, man, it's crazy, dude. He's so smart. He's smart as Bruce Wayne, but he's still broke. You know what I mean? I remember that one scene where what's his name? The other 2 Spider-Mans, they were cooking up, they were chefing up those cures or whatnot, and, like, my man Toby, that's a terrible name. Toby, he shot out his wrist, and the other 2 Spider-Mans was like, "Yo, how you do that?" We're like, "Yo, I can't do that either." But you know what I'm saying? But it just shows the ingenuity of Spider-Man, where, you know what I'm saying, they were actually creating web fluid of such dense proportions that, you know what I'm saying, like, remember, like, he could hold buildings together and things of that nature. So he is a brilliant kid, but he broke. You know what I'm saying? So it teaches you that Spider-Man is moving ass backwards in life, because you got to get that bread too, man. You can't be getting your GED with MIT type of brilliance. You know what I'm saying? You got to get some bread, man. But it doesn't. I don't think it asks more questions, because he's the most realistic character you can come across, besides all the web slinging and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like his failed relationships with women that you gotta live with. His failed relationships with his friends. Failed relationships with his family. So you know what I mean? It's very realistic. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. No, you're right. Pete. And for the record, Spider-Man is still running around. Spider-Man still have achievements, but that moment where he ripped off his mask and said, "Hey, I'm Spider-Man's Peter. Peter's Spider-Man." I think I want to say that the MCU, that's like their line in the sand to say, all right, nobody remembers that moment. The only thing is, obviously, his close friends they're not going to remember Peter, but no one else knows Peter at all. So he's kind of out there on his own at this point. And I know, I feel like Feige did that on purpose, because Peter's the Spider-Man's the guy. He's the guy in Marvel. Like you said, I think he's probably top 4. And personally, he's my guy. He's number 1. But, you know, overall, yeah, top of the MCU, I think, is Spider-Man. So you got to position his character to hold that mantle, right? You got to say, his life sucks. His life is miserable. You got to make this guy somebody you want to cheer for. And Peter is always that guy, because his life is so terrible. You know, the worst possible thing always happens, and somehow he finds a way to do the right thing. That's a rare character trait, and I'm pretty sure that's why everybody's gravitated to him. So,
True indeed, because his backstory is the stuff of villains. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he should have been a villain 8 times by now. You know, he should have been kept the black suit on. He actually was a damn villain for 2 seconds. So, you know, don't forget that type of stuff. And
Yeah, but
Hmm?
but
Sorry, Will, go ahead.
but the same thing, man. I mean, MCU version, he really had it that hard at this point.
Right.
He's had it pretty cushy, man. I mean,
Oh
he
yeah.
fought a couple of like C-list villains at first, and then he got pulled into the big leagues with the rest of the Avengers. But I mean, he's had it easy, and people have been bailing him out. That's why I haven't really been able to get behind him up until this point, is because somebody's always bailing him out, you know. And I don't really think that's what Peter is about. Peter is 10 toes down. He gonna handle it himself. You know, every once in a while somebody else, you know, come along and help him, but he put in work by himself. So I just couldn't get behind him up until this point.
So I can recall, at least with Ultimate Spider-Man, that he wasn't, especially because he's Ultimate Spider-Man's in like 15, 16. I
Yeah.
forget how old he's supposed to be in these movies.
Mhm.
16, 15.
around that age.
So I appreciate the approach the MCU took, because you got to remember they had to do something entirely different but the same as the Fox movies. Like, we all know his origin, all know his backstory. So through creative writing, they had to put you in a spot where life is grand for Peter, or he's not very good at being Spider-Man, or his friends, he actually has friends in a life and he's winning, and you're like, oh, okay, he's just figuring it out. But eventually you got to reset all of that. All of that's got to go. Like, yo, this man's life is terrible. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I feel like that's what this movie did per se, and I'm happy it happened that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it really is almost like they like the comic reboot of the whole Marvel universe after Civil War. That's basically what they just did in a nutshell in this movie. So I can move on to what the topics that the WandaVision and the Loki start delving into of multiverses and things of that nature, and really explore and expound upon those type of things. You know.
You got a little bit of that in this Spider-Man, and that's why I enjoyed it. You got a little bit of touch of the multiverse. I will admit and say to you, I don't think Doc Strange would have been this easily swayed. Even if Spider-Man did save the damn world from the blip or had his part in it. You know, that was kind of like some teenage Degrassi type drama nonsense.
Yeah,
Like,
it was straight hijinks.
yeah, like I'll help you. I'm the most grand wizard of all time, but you know, I got time for this kind of shenanigans, sure. You know. So that being said,
Yeah, you know, needless. Yeah, I will say that Steven has done some reckless shit in the comics though from time to time, but I just don't see him ripping reality apart for, you know, a teenager's request. I don't really see that that's in his nature to do so.
You did rip apart
And
it
then
in
he's
What
an
If.
adult, so yeah, but I mean, this is something as small as people knowing what his secret identity was. I mean, he's a celebrity, you know. So what is it hurting you for people to know who you are? You only got a couple people that you need to protect, and he's friends with Shield, so he'd have been straight.
Literally, I was about to say that. Well, you got like 2 people you got to worry about, bro. Like, what are you really concerned about? You can parlay this into a lot of money opportunity, you know. But hey, who am I?
Yeah,
Right.
Like
it
that
was
broke
a stretch.
shit.
I can't deny it was a stretch.
You know,
From
but it
that
made a good
story
movie.
perspective.
Yeah, every chick in the hallway at high school after him. I mean, he's the man overnight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He took the mask off. Now he's the man. Now he really is Tony Stark. You know what I'm saying? Why would you want to give that up?
Freshy's asking the questions the internet needs to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Maybe the internet's
true.
got an answer. I hope they got an answer, because I need to know. Hell, overall, I do think the character of the Green Goblin showing up in the MCU, and Peter being a sucker for everything that his crazy ass was doing, I thought that was wonderful. And to Fresh's point earlier, he immediately started playing for keeps. Like there was no in betweens. Like, nah, you got Stark Tech? No, we're not doing this. Slamming your ass through four floors, in one fight. That was one of the best Marvel fights I've seen in the movies, pound for pound. So I really appreciated Willem Dafoe showing up and showing out for that role.
Oh yeah. He put on an electric performance. Jamie Foxx did well too, you know what I'm saying, as the electric guy, you know what I mean? That was kind of dope. I see he didn't want to put on that bullshit ass costume again.
That's true, right?
Yeah, they literally had to write. It looked like they wrote it in the script, like, "Yo, you look different than the one that we seen before." I'm like, all right, I see. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing the comb over again, fam.
I like the inside joke they portrayed in that one. They're like, yeah, you look different or something. Like, okay, yeah, so
But it was
yeah, but man,
it was inspired to see multiple characters, and it's crazy to think because okay, even though it's one of my favorite movies, it is a stretch because they pulled the villains away before they were about to quote unquote die, right? And then Peter wanted to save them, but after he saved them, they went back. So did they go back in the same time period at the exact point they about to die again? You know what I'm saying? So was that just like a waste of a movie?
Yeah, it was. It was a waste of a movie, man. I mean, it was entertaining, but it was a waste.
Yeah, there was a lot of folly when it comes to that, but I did thoroughly enjoy it. Where the sand dude come out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying, start getting busy as well, and then I appreciate, you know what I'm saying, because I appreciate that the government took Edith, because that is an OP thing to have in your back pocket for a 16-year-old. You know what I mean?
Oh, you talking about the Stark Tech glasses you wearing tonight, Fred?
Yeah, man. The Stark Tech glasses. It's you know what I'm saying? That's game over. The minute he has those for anybody, you know what I'm saying? He's just gonna buck them and keep it moving. You know what I mean?
That's true, and all that shit, all that was like a crutch. You know what I mean? Like he Spider-Man never needed Tony, but they incorporated that in the MCU, and I appreciate it. I know that's one of your things. You absolutely hate that father-son crap, but I think it was done on purpose. He absolutely hates it.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I'm guessing Uncle Ben, because they never mentioned him, but I guess he don't exist at all. So he didn't know that with great power, but in the Ultimate Universe 1610, his Uncle Ben existed though, from what I remember. He died the same way as he did in 616. Yeah, so I'm guessing he probably just didn't exist because they never, even mentioned him. And that got me when his aunt died. You watching your mom die, in front of you, and that was a powerful scene. But William Dafoe, man, that guy is a freaking beast, man. He was born to play the Goblin, man. And what's crazy was that serum that they gave him. They act like the Goblin was like a separate personality, which it is. But Norman Osborn is a monster too. I mean, he's a psychopath. So
yeah.
It's only a matter of time before he wants that Goblin persona back.
Yeah, that and that's why I appreciate this Peter not knowing what to expect from him, and Willem Dafoe just he's curing all the problems, and Defoe's like, nah, we not doing that. I don't give what he doing. Turn the party out, that was. I'm like, okay. So from that sense, I thought the character development and the growth. I think he's ready to take the mantle after watching this movie. I thought it tied up a lot of loose ends. I mean, if I had to give a 1 out of 10, I'm giving it an 8.5. No, I'm gonna give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9 because I mean, we even had unexpected setups. I think what's his homie's name? I think the one that started doing the magic. I think yeah,
What's his name?
Ned.
Fat kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you even got potential outliers for obviously if you watch the ending, Venom to come around. Personally, I think it's way too soon for Venom, especially this moment in Peter's life. You know what I mean? And you got what's the not the green Hobgoblin. So there's Ned there too. So just strictly looking at the Spider-Verse or whatever. I think this movie's played well for the future of that as well too. So they want to get this guy to mantle. I think it's time to expect his stories to get even more deeper and more like, oh damn, heartbreaking and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I'm curious. I think this movie set that precedent up well. So we'll see.
Well, the symbiote left, that little piece of symbiote left set it up for, for Venom to make his way into the third one somehow or some way. So, but knowing how Marvel moved, we ain't gonna see another Spider-Man for the next 5 years. So, more or less, the story might actually be fleshed out even more.
He's at a good point right now. I mean, he's at the heartbreak and all that, and he's lost everything. It's a perfect time for him to meet that symbiote. So I think it would be pretty dope to see that, especially when Ned and MJ start dating.
That a spoiler alert? No, I mean,
I see it. I feel it.
I see it too. This movie, I think, kicked off the MCU. Well, I guess technically Shang-Chi kicked off Phase 4, technically, but I think this movie you get a bigger glimpse of the bigger picture, and I think you're going to get a lot more of this whole, hey, here's this random guy coming in. I think you're going to get a lot more of that going forward, thanks to this movie, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't.
Shang-Chi was an amazing movie, but I think it was an outlier. So I don't think it has any consequence on, if you look at what the universe is, it has no consequence of what's happening. Because, Shang-Chi was made in wherever it was made in, San Francisco, and wherever Kung Lao was at. And, everything else is in fucking New York. So...
So that's the thing. So not to go too far in that realm, because we're gonna eventually talk about it exclusively, but I feel like we're not looking at an Avengers setup. We're looking at something else. It might be a form in Avengers, but these guys might be dealing with mystical problems. I don't think it's gonna be the same space alien type thing. So I definitely think some kind of huge battle is gonna take place in that sacred land. I don't know what or why or what. I'll leave that for the true Marvel heads. They probably already know. But I think you're gonna see elements of Shang-Chi in the bigger Marvel scale. The movie was too good. I mean, it has some great moments, and like I said, we'll discuss that in a later episode. But there's no way you're just gonna leave that as a one-off. The only one-off I believe exists in the MCU is Black Widow, and that's due to legal and COVID and all that kind of nonsense. Everything else, I think,
technically, that is part of the universe because what's her name? Her sister was in the Hawkman, the Arrow guy, whatever the fuck his name is, the Arrow guy.
Arrow guy, we need that on the banner. Arrow guy.
The Arrow guy show. But I know Shang-Chi might be part of a Strange movie because the new Sorcerer Supreme, his sidekick, the sidekick, I forgot his name. You know what I'm saying? He scooped him up from San Fran and brought him to do what they got to do.
Big homie Wong.
Wong, yeah, homie Wong.
Yeah,
even Wong knew Strange was on some sucker shit when you know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, leave me out of this, and he bounced. You know what I'm saying? In this movie.
You're right. You're right.
I gotta say, man, I don't really like the side characters getting played up like they heroes, man. Wong is a secondary character. He's not important. Who else do we play up? A lot of like
Wong's
B level,
dope,
like what's old girl from the Black Panther with the spear from The Walking Dead, man. I'm like, she ain't no hero, man. She just a security guard, man. Stop it.
Come on, Will. Come on, man. You about to get us canceled out here talking crazy
No
about
hero,
the
man.
Dora
Stop
Milaje,
it,
man. Come on.
man. They in their job is in Wakanda. What you in New York for? You ain't supposed to be over there. Man, they lame, man.
To their credit,
no
they
heroes, man.
They haven't went
No,
and
the
bailed out
security
no white characters yet. To their credit, though, so
It's
you got to
a
at least give them that.
security guard, man. And Wong is just a he's secretary or something, man. He is not no sorcerer supreme backup dude, man. Stop. Man.
Technically, he is the Sorcerer Supreme. You know what I mean? Because Strange was blipped out for 5 years.
Yeah,
We don't know. They might actually do a side story like they did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Talking about Juan's
I hope not.
escapades or something.
let me ask you guys. Like I said, I give it
What black dude? Wasn't that black from that Strange movie? Wouldn't he be the next Sorcerer Supreme then? He's the most qualified over Wong.
Yeah, he dipped off.
I mean, but did he though?
He dipped off. He was evil.
He lost his faith and was out of there. Like, yo, this is some bullshit. I'm gone.
Yeah, but that don't necessarily mean he evil though.
No, he gonna kill people. No,
He's black and he evil.
Right,
y'all, man, they got to y'all, man.
No, they got to him. They got to this guy down here. They got to his ass. They ain't get to me. I see right through it.
He's black and he evil, huh? Why?
Hey, Disney tried.
Why he can't be
walking me into this territory? Don't do that. Don't do that, man. Because you know how I feel.
Because he's black and he evil. You know why? Hey, Disney is not slick.
I'm disappointed in you guys.
I know what time it is. Trust me. Okay.
Hey, you know the history of Fresh. Don't do that to me. You know how it goes.
It's coming very soon. The history of Fresh.
But you already know how he the way he walked off in the Strange movie. He was like, "Yo, y'all fraudulent. I lost my faith in y'all." So already know what was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna pull out the magical shank and go to work. You know what I mean?
So let me ask. Spider-Man obviously is the lead-in for Strange because Strange did a bunch of nonsense that's hosed up the world.
Yeah, he fractured shit, man.
Yeah, so obviously this was like the apex of whatever the big event's gonna be in the MCU for. Do you think Spider-Man does he play another big role, or is he done? Is he gonna stick to the street level guys who can actually blow up New York, because that's kind of the type of people he deals with,
Well,
I don't really think what you're asking is he gonna be part of that movie?
Well, just what do you think his role's gonna be in Phase 4, knowing he's like the catalyst that kicked us off? He can't just live with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what Strange brings us, but I feel like Spider-Man is gonna play a bigger role in the future.
Well, he bust Strange ass in the movie anyway when they did scrap. You know what I mean? So, but I think. If you look at it, they are intertwining the story where it looks like it is going to multiverse or whatnot. It showed like in the Strange the trailer how, like, you know what I'm saying, you got Wanda with him or whatnot. It's prime for a Spider-Man appearance to save their ass in some way or not, because if you look at how Marvel is basically talking how magic is just basically science. You know what I mean? And big portion of science is math. And you saw how, like, when the Strange and Spider-Man fight was happening, my man looked at the angles. You know what I'm saying? He did a quick math calculation. You know what I'm saying? and you know what I'm saying, put the work in on Strange, you know what I'm saying, and took him out the movie for X amount of period of time.
Sorry, but
So
for me, that was like a top 5 Marvel fight. That was amazing. That's the shit you go to the movies for, right there.
true indeed, true
Yeah,
indeed. So
but that's the perfect example of stuff Peter can do on his own, and that's why I didn't like all this assistance he's always getting. He ain't even really been able to shine and show people what he can do. You got a lot of people out here thinking that he does need Stark Tech, needs R, needs that. He doesn't need any of that stuff, and he's extremely smart and he's dangerous on his own. He don't need all that stuff.
Yeah, I think the ascension to that has begun. You know what I mean? Because if you know, like you said, man, the Spider-Man is such a deep character. His powers are in depth. His intelligence in depth. Like personally, he's my favorite for a reason, and it's just because somehow he still loses and wins at the same time. So I think the movies are finally going to start reflecting that, and at least I hope. So we'll see.
true indeed.
Hey, so I got a question. You kind of broke it down before, Joe. So when Strange did that astral projection and pushed him out of his body, why was his body react that?
See right there, right? Even Peter didn't know, but I theorize, and I'm not going to take credit. I'm pretty sure the internet is, but it's his spider sense was completely, taken over. I think that was one of the doper scenes in Marvel MC movie history. Like you said, he knocks him off this astral plane, but Strange cannot touch his body because Peter's sense, his awareness is that far ahead of the game. You know what I mean? This guy's like the Sorcerer Supreme, and he can't touch you. And then Peter's still doing what he does on the astral plane, and his body's just freely at will. It was, I think that was one of the doper touches Marvel's ever put in their movie. So, you know what I mean? I'm glad it was
But
there, and I hope.
a kind of a,
Mhm.
but it's a hint at his precognition.
Yep.
That's how his spider sense work. It's precognition. I'm like, this dude don't need nothing, man. He don't need armor, man. This guy can read several seconds into the future, man. So
Yeah,
I mean, I like that his powers are growing.
that's correct. Yeah, right.
Mhm.
So I think you had to strip him naked, pause, and let him go from there. You know what I'm saying? And let his character develop and let him see what he can do on his own. Because again, that Stark Tech was such a crutch, man. It pretty much cleared up 2 Spider-Man movies with no issue. Like, oh, all you need is some Stark Tech, and it was done. Like, oh, everything solved. So.
Mhm.
I think they wiped the books and we're starting from zero on this character, and I love it. I think it was a great catalyst. I don't want to call it you could call it a true Spider-Man genesis in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I understand some of the gripes people have, the internets have, you have personally will. I don't think it was top 3 like Fresh is saying, but man, it had some moments, and I think it set up some big things.
Only thing better is Winter Soldier and Into the Spider-Verse, in my humble opinion.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. It's
All
up
right,
there.
so
Yep.
let me get a grade real quick while we're still discussing it. I said 9 out of 10, pretty high up there. Fresh has got a top 3. Will, you got it high as well. What do you got out of the scale of 10?
I would probably agree with that. It's probably like an 8.5, 9. Yep.
Yeah, I concur. It's 10 out of 10 for me. Like, the perfect Marvel movie was Winter Soldier, in my humble opinion.
Mhm.
And like, I think after it, you have several nines. You know what I mean? Like Civil War, Into the Spider Verse, Endgame. It's like for a period of time they wasn't missing at all. You know what I mean? Then, you got blights like Black Widow. That was a terrible movie. But
Yeah.
this right here, yeah, I give it a 9.5. It's a close to perfection to a Spider movie. I mean, to a Marvel movie that you can get besides Winter Soldier. You know what I'm saying? So, and in the Spider Verse, that was utterly amazing. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, Spider-Verse, man. one of these days we're gonna have a discussion because we're about 20, 22 Marvel movies deep now. We can definitely have a progressive ranking. So I'm with it if y'all are, if the internet's with it are. So, like I said, man,
Hey,
I think
so let me ask y'all a question real quick. What do y'all think? What do you think? Do you think we're gonna see Toby and Andrew Spider-Man again, or is that it for those
Nah,
iterations
they
of the
done
character?
so. They done.
why expound on that? Why you think they're done? Let me ask.
Well, this movie partly was fan service, and fan service costs money. You got 3 leading characters in one movie. Then you broke the bank to get William Dafoe to come in, and then you broke the rules and let William Dafoe do stunts. You know what I'm saying? William Dafoe is pretty old, man. You, It could have been rough for the bed. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they let him do stunts and all that. It was a lot of fan service in this joint. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Mhm.
actually, it's 4 because you got Jimmy Fox. You know what I'm saying? He won the Academy. Was that an Emmy, whatever, Oscar or whatever for Ray, whatever. So it's a lot of
I
money
think both,
spent
yeah.
on this movie on actors. I don't
Mhm.
think they, even though he got like $1 billion in a week or so. I don't think Disney gonna be like, nah. I think it was just pure fan service, which I truly, truly enjoy, and they won't get the ball rolling onto other things. You know what I mean? Because you got a ton
But I
of
mean,
characters.
they going back to their own universes though.
Right.
Well,
So
the thing
but they don't
is,
have
like,
to necessarily have them in a movie together.
which is true, but you're gonna have Kang. Kang is probably gonna be the main villain, and he deals with time and deals with multi-universes and things of that nature, like what he did in Loki. You got the multi-universe thing that's happening with uh, uh, Strange, and then the Dark Strange. That was that Strange Supreme, or the one that destroyed his universe over a woman. Uh, Destroyed his whole universe over a woman. He supposed to be in it as well, so it's tying all the what if guys that where the Watcher pulled everybody from different realities, like Captain Carter and Star Lord, Wakanda dude. You know what I'm saying? And Michael B. Jordan as well. So they once you open up the time thing, which they did in what's that end game, it's no going back once you start playing with time. So they might pop up out of anywhere, but you look at it like real life business wise, it makes no sense to have so many leading characters in one movie. You know what I mean? Over and over again for just Spider-Man.
See, I I
But
disagree. I disagree. I think they've created with the separate Ventum entity and the what's my man's name, Garfield Spider-Man. I think they've created enough buzz and attention to say, hey, let's make a Spider-Man Venom movie separately over here and make some extra money via Fox or some nonsense. I can definitely see that. I don't want it to happen, but this is America. They're gonna make money regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Fair.
yeah, because you remember Tom Holland is not gonna do any. He's not doing any Sony projects. He's an MCU character, so
Right.
they still have to make Spider-Man movies. So Andrew, I think he's gonna be the Spider-Man going forward in that universe.
Right.
There's
Definitely.
always a possibility when money come into play, but just looking at it like as the MCU, well, if you're gonna do one-offs on this side of things, like the Venom joints, they own pocket universes. I can understand that, but they brought Venom into the MCU. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
True.
They so
But
that's why I'm like, yo, they trying to cut off the fat. If
but
they
I
bring
think
the Venom in, they cutting off the fat, and they about to focus in on these stories because they got so many characters like in the Eternals. At the end, the secret scene where Blade was there. You know what I mean? In the secret scene with his voice was in Marshall Copper Cottonmouth. You know what I'm talking about?
Marshall,
My man
uh,
Cottonmouth. He was there.
Mahershala.
You know what I mean? So like
Yep.
it looks like they delving into the other stories and moving away from the past stories, if you will. This besides this movie.
um yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I think it's big time. They're introducing a lot. I do believe that the MCU Venom is going to be totally different than the Fox Venom because he's an anti-hero over in the Fox world. Uh, I don't know how that plays into the whole fact of Venom being one universal conscience and like all-knowing being. I don't even know if they're going to acknowledge that in the movie. So we'll see. You know what I'm saying?
So well, technically they did because they knew about Spider-Man. Spider-Man wasn't in his universe,
True,
and like
true.
remember Venom licked the screen, was like, I seen him before, or something like that. You know what I'm
Fair.
saying? So they are opening it up for the collective mind. Marvel, low key opened up a lot of things to be explored in the Spider-Man movie. A lot of them, low key things. You know what I mean? Which is possible. You know what I mean? Anything's possible when the money's coming to play. But storyline, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Andrew and Toby no more as Spider-Man.
Fair enough.
I think Toby's done, man. He looked exposed and frail in that movie.
He looked angry too. You know, like the whole thing just pissed him off. Like, let's get it over with. Shit, stop asking me. Give me the bag so I can go buy a bag. Stop playing.
Right.
All right, I don't mean no disrespect. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But he did not look like he wanted to be there, bro. He did, you know.
No, he
so,
didn't.
So I don't think you're gonna see him again for sure. That being said, man, y'all got anything else to add before we wrap this up? We had a good discussion tonight, man. You know, it was a quick hitter. Well, it really wasn't quick. We went 40 minutes with no problem. So, you know, anything else left to add, fellas?
No, I ain't got nothing else.
Yeah, that's it.
Except for you know what I'm saying, like it is top 3, and we need to dig and delve into why I think it's top 3 and things of that nature in a ranking list or something like that. You know what I mean?
Something to add. We'll find out what the internet's want us to add because you know they're driving the content. You know, you guys are creating or helping us create what you know want to hear it. We'll debate it. I do believe this thing was a top 5 Marvel movie. I don't know where it is yet, but I don't want to say it's above Enter the Spider-Verse personally, but that's another conversation for another day. Will, you got anything left to add for the internet?
Nah, that's all I got, man. Solid film, top 5, definitely.
Say top 5, definitely. All right, well, we're gonna see. As you know, we're all on this MCU together, ride together. So we're looking forward to the next extravaganza. I know Black Moon's coming up soon. Like we said, the Doc Strange. So a lot to look forward to and a lot to
Black
discuss.
Moon, huh?
Yeah. So what's it? Was it Black Moon or Black Knight? I'm tripping. Fresh, you can't let me go out like that.
Yeah,
Moon
Moon
Knight.
Knight, fam.
Good Lord.
So I had to cut you off. Like, hold on, man.
Look, I'm old, man. I be thinking of old school hip hop. Okay, that's what that is. But yeah, so Moon Knight's coming. We got a lot to discuss, and that's what we're gonna do for you over here at the Basement Protagonist. You can like, subscribe, and comment. At some point, you know, we probably put our scroll up, and you know, man, just come in, hop on a discussion, come holler at us. We're always talking. We're always available, and shit, man, we're just gonna holler and go from there. You know, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. On that note, guys.
Peace.